There's an important statute on the books that if you break the law and your neighbors turn you in, they may be eligible for 1/2 of whatever fine the government collects for your infraction. And no, I'm not talking about Wuhan, China during the pandemic. This is in the US. Surprising but true. And the rewards have been in the millions of dollars. And so whether you're looking for a sketchy but legal side hustle, or maybe you just want to keep an eye on those nosy neighbors who are a little too curious about your business, I'm going to break it down for you in this video. Hi, my name is John Farrell. I'm an intellectual property attorney in Silicon Valley. Welcome back to my channel. I received a note recently from someone in our community, and by the way, as usual, I've changed the names and the facts slightly to protect the innocent. John, there's a guy at work who spends his whole day selling counterfeit watches to people in the office and around the company. I'm getting stuck with all of his work, and besides, he's so creepy and disgusting. If I turn him into the customs authority, can I collect a reward? I saw this somewhere online. I think it's only fair because I'm doing twice the work and he's getting paid for selling fake watches. What do I need to do to turn him in and get paid? Signed, Angry Angie. Okay, so much for I've got your back at work. It's called the Moiety Statute. It's codified in 19 U.S.C. 1619. If you've never heard of it, don't fret. Moiety is one of those law school footnotes that get glossed over during lawyer training. When law schools do talk about it, it's generally in relation to a case in the 18th century where two brothers are fighting over a land inheritance. The word moiety has French and Latin roots and means part of or half of. Section 1619 allows informers to receive a portion of the fine or government forfeiture that occurs when the information they provide helps bring others to justice. The statute is specific to customs violations and smuggling, and the informant in some cases can receive up to half of the amount recovered. The law dates back in the United States to the origins of the country, before there was a general income tax, when customs duties was a large part of the revenue for the United States government. Smuggling was a significant problem, especially with the extensive coastline. And smuggling was a way to avoid paying taxes for imports into the United States. A relatively recent case involving the Moiety Statute centered around the big three automakers in an investigation called Operation Hat Trick. Now, just a quick side note, a hat trick in hockey is where a single player scores 3 goals in a single game. I think a really interesting reference for the government going after 3 automakers in Detroit, Michigan. However, the investigation eventually focused on Ford Motor Company. A customs compliance officer at Ford named Robert Massaro discovered that Ford had been underpaying customs duties on some of their imported parts. Specifically, Ford had misclassified some of these parts to avoid paying import tariffs. Massaro raised and escalated his concerns internally at Ford, but was just dissatisfied with Ford's response. Eventually, Massaro provided information to Customs and Border Protection regarding the misclassified imports, and as a result, Ford Motor Company agreed to a settlement of $42 million with the U.S. government. Although the actual reward payment was held in secrecy, as is common in these types of cases, we do know that Massaro received a significant reward for his information leading to the payment by Ford Motor to the government. So with this information as a background, what does Angry Angie need to do to collect a moiety reward? The first step is to collect detailed information about the counterfeiting or the smuggling. Who's he receiving phone calls from, to the extent that she can determine that? Who's he calling? What are they discussing? But in any event, the relevant information is going to be critical to the CBP in initiating a case against the counterfeiter. The second step is to contact the federal government through the Customs and Border Protection Office or the FBI. Now, Customs and Border Protection can generally be found at any international airport in a large city. and many large cities in the United States have FBI field offices. So to get the process started, she'll go to either the FBI or the CBP in order to begin preparation of a report. Now, Customs and Border Protection may have a list of questions that they'll want to have answered in the report, or they might be able to provide a field officer to actually sit with her and help her prepare the investigation report. Now, it's important to note that if Angie wants it, she can request confidentiality in the process, both confidentiality in the investigation and confidentiality in the subsequent legal proceedings that may occur after the investigation is completed. But if she wants confidentiality, she should request it early on in the process. Now, once the report is completed, CBP will review the report and then, if warranted, begin investigation proceedings against the counterfeit. And usually these investigation proceedings end in the confiscation of the counterfeit goods. Then once the investigation has run its course, then a determination will be made as to whether to bring legal proceedings against the counterfeiter. And it's only after successful completion of the legal proceedings that Angie would be eligible to receive a reward under the moiety statute. Now, the reward by the government isn't automatically granted. Angie's going to have to petition the government for her reward. She's going to have to file a claim with the Secretary of the Treasury to make sure that the government grants her part of the proceeds of the investigation and the successful legal proceedings. The Secretary of the Treasury will review the claim, and if the claim is approved, then finally she'll receive part of the payment that's been received by the government. Okay, a couple of final considerations. First of all, this isn't a fast process. The investigation itself could take 6 months to a year with another year of legal proceedings. So from the time that her report is first submitted to the government, it may be a year or two before she ever sees any reward under the statute. In addition, it's very important that the reporting to the government be in good faith, with complete accuracy and honesty. Intentional, inaccurate information or false reporting to the government can lead to significant legal consequences against the informant. Okay, that's all I have to say today about the law of moiety. It's a little bit of an oddball topic for this channel, but when I got the question, I was super interested in reviewing a little more about it, and I wanted to share the topic with you on this video. If you have any more questions about this topic or any other topic in intellectual property law, put them in the comments section below. And if you're having intellectual property issues and you'd like to talk with an attorney, I'd love for you to reach out to me. I can be reached at the email address below. In the meantime, I'll see you over on the next video.